It's our pleasure to welcome back to the Element Well Studio Major Johnny Polous, Director of the 1034 Project, Officer Wellness and Resiliency Program, of course, Mississippi Highway Patrol, and Chair of the Mississippi First Responders Taskforce. And also joining us, Chief Billy Kelley, Gulfport Fire Department, and Vice Chair, Mississippi First Responders Taskforce. Major, Chief, glad you guys could be with us today.
Thanks for
coming
having
in.
us.
Yeah,
Thank
as always. All right, so I was just telling the audience in the first segment there, Major, that I remember when you came on the program and talked about this new assignment, and you and I had just had a discussion when you were handling public affairs for the Highway Patrol. I think I just mentioned, asked a question of you, I should say, about how some of the troopers and first responders and officers deal with some of these situations that they encounter. It's not like you can just block that out of your head and go home and carry on your life as usual and not think about that. And I think you said, it's interesting you asked that, Gerard, because this is a new program that we're about to form up, and here you are, and I've commented that in my years of knowing you and talking to you, I think you're a perfect fit for this. So,
well, I appreciate you saying that, Gerard.
Absolutely, 100%. So give me an update. Where are we?
So in July, the governor signed House Bill 1268, creating the Mississippi First Responders Taskforce.
Right.
And our goal is to study things, mainly evidence-based practices, where we can recognize PTSD issues and address the issue of suicide. I mean, it's a touchy subject. It's for first responders, and I know Billy will agree with this, there's a stigma attached to anything related to mental health with first responders. The bottom line is we're the protectors, right? And that is perceived as weakness when we have to talk about mental health, but it is a problem. It's well known. Stats show that we lose more law enforcement officers to suicide than we do to in the line of duty deaths. And Billy can attest to this too. With firefighters, you know, it's a problem, but luckily we do have this task force now to look at some things, and hopefully we'll have some really good recommendations from the members to put in this report.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so Chief, tell us about your involvement in this program.
Yeah, so I was, very excited when this happened and to be a part of it. 6 months ago, we lost a firefighter to suicide, and we've tried to push things as far as peer support groups and CIT training and CISM training, and like Johnny said, firefighters are 3 times more likely to die from suicide than in a line of duty.
Unbelievable.
The stigma is that we are the protectors. We're there to help. But, our guys are human, and they see this every day, and they try to go home and raise a family, and it's tough. So I'm glad it's brought to light.
Yeah. And so, Chief, have you heard some feedback from the firefighters that this is really helping me through some of these situations?
Big deal. I've been approached by many of them, and we're starting from the ground up now with our recruit classes when they come in, introducing this. You're still going to have some of the old timers that are in there, and it's, hey, suck it up mentality, but that's just not the way to deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Major, there's no shame in this if you have a problem with this. Like you said, you're still a human being. You're a first responder. You're doing your duty. You're doing your job. But you're still comprised of blood and flesh, like all humans are. And honestly, you want them to have emotions like that and to feel the compassion whenever you have this sort of harm to humanity that they encounter firsthand. The rest of us are insulated from, honestly.
That's right. And you do become desensitized to this line of work, being a first responder. And Billy and I, we're the old guys, but I can tell you we've learned a lot too. And the biggest thing for us is to start normalizing these type of conversations. But not only normalizing conversations, we have to start implementing practices. For instance, training. We have to start somewhere, right? We train in the fire academy. We train in our law enforcement academy to go out there and to do the job to protect yourself along with protecting the public. But what have we done to train that person on the mental fitness side? I like to refer to it as mental fitness, on how to go out and survive a 20, 25, maybe 30-year career in this business. We've never done that. We've never scratched the surface. We have to start now. The new generation. We've got an opportunity, and I think we need to capitalize on it.
Okay. So Chief, has anything changed through the years? I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this question. Are the scenarios that a first responder may encounter now, are they more horrific than they were, say, a couple of decades ago? Is that even a fair question? I'm not sure, but
I think it's always been bad.
Yeah.
I think we're seeing more of it now. When I started the fire service, we didn't run every single medical call. We didn't run all that.
Okay.
To where now we're running, City of Gulfport, we're running over 16,000 calls a year. So we're seeing,
unbelievable.
head-on collisions. We're seeing, sexual violence, with children. We're seeing children pass, and they're in on every call, just like the law enforcement.
Yeah.
I think one of the statistics was the average person in the general population sees 3 traumatic events through a lifetime.
Okay.
And a first responder experiences 9 a year. So you do that, the math over a 25, 30-year career, it starts to accumulate.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think humans are designed to endure those sorts of scenarios, and that's what you guys, where you come in, right, Major, and try to help them through these situations.
Absolutely. And again, going back to the training aspect of it, we're still going to have our things that we like to refer to in training that we have to have in place, right?
Okay.
But we also need to get to a point in training and tell them that this mental armor, the psychological armor that you're going to have to develop throughout your career is just as important, or maybe more important, than the equipment that you are issued into these academies. Again, it's conversations we've never had in the past. I think you saw something. Maybe you had a vision when you brought that up to me.
I don't know about that.
It
just hit me like, I don't know how these guys deal with coming up upon these scenarios.
Right.
Without it affecting them, and be fit to go do it again the next day.
Absolutely. And look, we have to give thanks where thanks is due to House Representative Kevin Felser and Commissioner Sean Tyndall for getting involved in this and actually playing a big role in standing the task force up. We can talk all day, right? You and I had that conversation almost 5 years ago,
That's
Gerard.
Right. Yep.
Well, now we have something in place that we're hoping we're going to be able to move the needle and progress through this and really help these first responders and their families.
So, Chief, is this part of training? Is some courses or some sort of examples? Are they included in training as one becomes a first responder, or do we wait till after they've encountered these situations to provide the therapy?
In the past, it's been you're responding to a thing, and in the academy it's not taught.
Okay.
And I love Johnny's mental fitness. I love that because the mental health stigma, people don't like that. If you had heart disease or diabetes, you would treat it. And being physically fit and mentally fit are just as important. If I fire trucks right now are $900,000 to $1 million a piece. That piece of equipment is useless if I don't have good, fit team members to put on.
Totally, sure. So, well, is this something, Major, that makes sense to include as part of their academy experience?
Absolutely. Today's going to be an important day for us with the task force. We've got some administrators that are going to be presenting. This is a tough subject. You have to have buy-in from the administration along with the buy-in from the first responders, right? But we're going to have our director of the Mississippi Law Enforcement Officers Training Academy that's going to present today on, some things that he thinks that we can implement into training, again, to normalize this conversation. And we're hoping one day, I don't know if I'll see it, Billy, but we're hoping one day we can walk into a briefing and talk about mental fitness just as easily as we talk about anything with the law enforcement aspect or the firefighter aspect.
It just seems pretty critical, pretty important to me. And, it could be a situation where it may be included in academy training, and because they've never experienced, it maybe doesn't sink in right then, but as you would hope, of course, when they do have those kinds of situations, they sort of recall that.
That's right.
And it is valuable to them.
Absolutely.
Guys, we appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for having us.
It's been enjoyable, and appreciate all the great work you do. And of course, Major, we very much appreciate all the men and women of the Mississippi Highway Patrol. Of course, all of our first responders, firefighters, police officers. Thank you, Chief.
We'll appreciate the SuperTalk family as well.
Appreciate you guys. We're stepping aside for a break. We're coming right back.